My name is Reynold Martinez. I retired as a E8. I served 24 years of active duty and another 8 years just about of National Guard duty. So I got close to 32 years. My motivation was my brother. I emulated him as a big brother. And he was in Korea, in the Navy, which made him kind of a wide open guy, you know. I said, he's doing everything. And so I wanted to emulate him, and that's how I ended up telling a lie about my age. I was only 15 when I came on the 2nd of May of 1952. Luckily, I met a good warrant officer. He was my personnel officer in Germany. I was there with an airborne unit, 504 Infantry. And I put in to get married. I met a German girl. And I put in my paperwork, and he found a glitch in it and called me up and said, "This is wrong." He said, "That's fraudulent enlistment." I said, "Oh, I'm in trouble now." But he worked it out for me. He wrote the city birth certificate area in Denver there, and I was just on the hill where I was born. And so they were able to get my birth certificate changed properly. I got an official one labeled with the Army, and so I got married. I never changed my date because it was officially changed by the Army, so I was in good shape. I don't think that the military affected my life. If anything, I would have affected my own life. In not getting the proper education, for instance. I took the GED course as soon as I got in the Army, and I passed it. Pretty good grades, about a B average for high school, but I didn't continue it. Later on, I picked it up again a couple times, and I took some correspondence courses out of the University of Nebraska, who handled the military. But I didn't really follow through because by then my career was changing. I was doing better with the stripes, and I was getting some decent awards. So it kind of I lost out of a certain thing, you know. And then I got married. I did apply for an officer training course twice, but one of them was approved at 8th Division level and 5th Corps level in Germany. But when I came back, it was shipped to 3rd Army headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, and we never saw that again. So I took another board, and I had just finished a course in Recondo, which is a short ranger course, and made it number 2, like I was trying to think of the proper word, but anyway, I was number 2 in the class, and so I passed my board, and I thought that I was going to make it, and instead we got orders to go to Vietnam, so that everything ceased as far as personnel paperwork, and the unit got prepared. But it was okay. I mean, what made me get into the service to start with, and that was because of the emulation of my brother and him being in the Navy. He was a flyboy, and which is not normal in an aircraft carrier. But he flew off about 3 or 4 carriers while he was in the Navy with a squadron. And but they were like torpedo planes, air support planes, and surveillance, more or less. So they did a lot of work in the coastline of Korea during the conflict. Uh, but that's what got me emulated or bent hard on wanting to be with my brother and supporting our country. That's what the whole damn thing is about, the country. But nobody seems to feel that way anymore. Not when you look at it as the whole thing, and especially not when they look at how the world is today. Everybody's shooting at each other. There is no calmness in this world anymore. And if it meant that I had to go back, then damn right I go back. Because to support this country, this is our home. Now I come from another, by line stock, I come from Spain on my mom's side and from Mexico on my dad's side. I speak Spanish, I speak English, and I speak German. And my wife is here right now. She's on vacation coming in because we have a home in Heidelberg, Germany, where the headquarters was. And we bought a condo there. And things are just as bad over there trying to get rid of property as it is here. So, but as soon as she gets that done, she'll come back. But then again, we're going to have to fight the INS again, so there's just a lot of things going on. She just had her birthday in September. She's 84. I'm 86. So time's kind of wasting. And then when we realize that, we have our eyes open. No, not really, not when I look at the histories of other folks that joined the service like I did. As a matter of fact, I met here at the PX in Fort Lewis, I met one of the guys that wrote a book about his time in the Second War as a 15-year-old. And he had redone the book 3 or 4 times and always picking up some new people from Korea, Vietnam, other places. And he just kept a running score on how many, not exactly, but basically, how many actually, within 1 or 2, actually joined because they felt that much about their country. As young as we were, that was the days when school was different. We had geography, we had world history, economics, we even did some kitchen work, home economics. And I tried the Glee Club. I couldn't sing worth a darn, but I did a lot of shop work. So I had a kind of a general knowledge of the basic things that run this country. But we don't have that today. Everything is so specialized, and if you pay enough money, you almost buy a degree, I think. And I don't take that literally, but no, I just think that the heart's not beating anymore. Where even as a young kid, I already had it in my mind. I'm born Catholic, so that doesn't make me that much better than anybody else. But it gave me somebody to follow way up above that could tell me, go do the job. Well, we're not doing the job today, but he gave me that authoritative voice when he spoke to me, that I understood what he meant. And so then I met a real wonderful chaplain. He lives in Tampa, Idaho. He was a Protestant chaplain. When I was in Vietnam, I couldn't hardly ever get a Catholic chaplain up around the area. So he was with us all the time. And he became a damn hero over there. We got hit one time so bad that we had guys laying everywhere. And he pulled 12 of them off the battlefield. Towards the end, we all had pretty decent jobs. And that only meant because we applied ourselves, not because we had any college degrees. The best day was when I got the word that my brother Joe Jr., he was the youngest of the bunch, had arrived in Vietnam, and that he had sent a message that he was going to come and see me as quick as he could. He was about 25 miles away over the mountain. And so I got a hold of my brother, who was in the B intelligence team, Special Forces, about 20 miles to my left, in a place called Marble Mountain. And eventually we got together, but not all three at the same time. But when I saw Joe, because he had had his troubles before he came in the service, but instead of looking 5'6", he looked like 10 feet to me, because he changed so much. Became a medic. I had been a medic myself when I first came in the Army. I went to school at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, with 82nd. Later on, went to Germany with him for another 5, 6 years. And I just kept floating back between divisions. But that's what made it a special day, because I said, well, I'm the oldest here, Archie, you're next, and Joe, you're last. Why don't you all go home, give Mom a break, and I'll stay here. They looked at me and they called me all kinds of dumb. So I said, okay, then we're all going to stay. So it was hard on Mom, I'm sure, that we were all gone at the same time. And the Dick had already gone himself. So, but still, it made me feel, as a Mexican American, that I sometimes thought more about my country than natural borns. You used to hear it often, especially in Vietnam. You heard it often. Bang, bang, bang. And, but I just had that feeling that we were doing what the hell we were supposed to do. Our borders were being threatened, although they were 6,000 miles away. Anytime you have full hostilities between your country and another country, you're open to anything, especially today with all that Kambali stuff that they have flying around the world. And so, yeah, you could ask me this 100 times a day, and I tell you, goddamn right. This is my country. Although we migrated here back in 1499 or something, that's when my grandparents on my mom's side came from around Zaragoza, Spain. They came through the fighting bulls down there. And I'll remember that until the day I die, which won't be that long probably, because I'm 86 now. My grandmother on my mom's side from Spain, she made it 108.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, so I'm just hoping, but I doubt it. It depends on the conversation that you're having. What brought up the topic to start with? And sometimes, I hate to say this, but you find some fibbers that just keep the conversation going. Don't mean any harm. It's just that their heart's not in it. And after you've been around a long time, you can tell this when somebody is pulling your leg, you know? But you try to extricate yourself from the conversation without causing any due harm on anybody or embarrassing them to the point where people don't talk to them for a while. So you try to do that, but still in your heart you know that you better watch out, because when it hits the fan, he may not be available to do his job properly. And that's not shooting hot rounds at somebody. It's not throwing rocks. That to me is the issue. there's so many, I say there are channels of optimism that people feel that we shouldn't be doing this or doing that. But you got to be careful because the rest of the world is not soft anymore. It's just a small country with a few thousand people who create a hell of a star flying in the sky. You know, and their religions are much more volatile than ours will ever be. We have Catholics and Protestants, basically. Evangelisch, as they're called in Europe, but the Katholisch being the Catholic. And that has plenty of wars throughout time. We've had our wars here of, screwing around with people just because they're different. Black, Indian, or just plain white people that come from other countries. So it's a quandary that we find ourselves in. I do myself. I don't read the Bible too much because I don't know who wrote it. Not anymore. But as a youngster, I went through communion, I went through confirmation, but then I became a teenager. I started thinking for myself. So religion is a big part of things, and depends on how it's preached to you, how it affects you, and everybody around you. But there is a kind of a lack of thought on that side too. You're in the media. People read you every day. They may not like you, they might love you, but we don't have a connection between that love and no love. And that's why we have so many problems, especially in this country now. We're not the US of A anymore. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I am. But I don't think that we are the country that I remember when I was a teenager growing up in the Bay Area. Because then all you could see was sailors, soldiers, Marines, and people working in the shipyards, doing something. My dad working with the engines of trains, and my mom doing the riveting, stuff like that. My brother by that time and I were pushing papers, newspapers already, paper routes. And so we were all ready. I thought, but things started dissipating over the last part of the 50s. In the 60s and 65, thereabouts, when I hit Vietnam the first time, we caught hell coming home. So you thought we had come home and shot all the kids in town. But again, that's an opinion fed by just one guy, and that's me. I don't put anybody's words in front of me, but I'll tell you how I feel. My brothers all felt the same thing, because they all did the same job. And everybody used to say, well, why are you guys are crazy? I'm going to be crazy the day that comes on the beach and hits San Francisco and takes it all over. Well, I said, yeah, I know, because I've been shot at and hit. I've been medevac. I spent time in William Beaumont General Hospital, and I almost lost my leg. Luckily, it's just festering now. But again, though, that's the scar that I got because I did my job. I didn't run away. I stayed there and did what I was supposed to do. And that's deter the enemy from reaching your headquarters or your border states or whatever it might be. You can give a lot of interpretation to it. You get carried away sometimes too. I caught my plea there.